Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight Jon Snow is back. We will be looking at the career of Billy Idol. So get ready, this is going to be really good.
Talking bands that no one talks about. Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome Jon Snow back to the show. Tonight we are doing a second episode to our original episode. We covered the band Generation X on the last episode, and we're looking at the career of Billy Idol. So if you missed that Generation X episode, please check that out in the link below. Great discussion. We had a lot of fun. But now we're going to look at that Billy Idol solo catalog. Now, there's a lot to it. We're going to try to get through it. But everybody pretty much is going to know who Billy Idol is at this point. Born in 1955, he did start the band Generation X, which there's some people that have you looked at the comments on that episode at all? Some people mention that Generation X wasn't a punk band. Some people say they were a new wave band. But if you look at the way Generation X was marketed, they were evidently marketing to the punk crowd. I think we said, John, didn't we pretty much say that they were probably more along the line of new wave?
They started out, maybe that first album was more punk, but they quickly moved new wave. Right. And by the third album, that's what they were. Yeah.
But yeah, check out that episode below. It was fun. Anyway, we're going to look at Billy's solo catalog. So God, it's just amazing to think that he's been active since 76, but
it's crazy.
It's crazy. So Generation X spanned from 1976 to 1981. They disbanded. Of course, Billy went solo. He had a lot of great records. I think probably his biggest success, I guess, would be from 81 to 85, wouldn't you say? I mean,
yeah, definitely.
That was his golden period.
But I don't know if it's his best.
Oh, what's that?
I don't know if it's his best. We'll get to that.
Not. We might look at it. He might have improved. Yeah. But he hooked up with Steve Stevens as his guitar playing partner. Those guys pretty much co-wrote, produced all this fine material in this era. Everybody is familiar or should be familiar with the 1982 hit White Wedding. That was probably one of the biggest hits Billy'd ever had, and the song Dancing with Myself, that was a Generation X song. And, in 1981, he did an EP titled Don't Stop. You want to touch on that, John?
Yeah, we can just touch on it briefly. He was in the process. He had met Steve Stevens, so they were recording their first album, but to hold people over and to get some buzz going, they released this. It's just a 4-song EP. Moni Moni was on it, but it also had Untouchables on side 2, which is also a Gen X song. So really, there's really only one, well, Baby Talk. Maybe so there was just one song that wasn't like a cover. And Steve is not on this one. So all of these songs were done before Steve Stevens. But most people should know Moni Moni, but Dancing with Myself was the one that hit MTV, and I think is what kind of got the ball rolling.
All right. Well, what about that? Let's look at that first record. So we've got the EP in 81. There you go. There's the original cover. I won't have
the original cover,
which god awful.
Oh, it's horrible. And they knew that. And so they ended up switching it and doing this one.
That's better.
And I like this one because I've still got the sticker from where I bought it. And so what was $8.66 at Turtles Records in Atlanta. So
Turtles. But yeah, it's a big improvement over that first cover. I could see why they would want to redesign it. I don't know why they ever picked that original cover. Do you know that what
I don't know the story behind that.
Huh?
I don't know. But it's weird. It's also, there's a different song on here. The final song is called Congo Man, but on the next cover, it's Dancing with Myself. So they changed the song.
Stronger songs.
It is.
They're trying to make, and that was commonplace back then. You have these UK artists, European artists, and they'll come over and they'll switch up the track lineups. Some things won't even jive with what came out in the UK or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's just, so I'm not surprised that they redid it,
Right.
But I think it probably made a stronger record since Dancing with Myself was on it.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that record? What do you?
For a debut record, I think it's fantastic. I mean, how many artists when their first record can get a song like White Wedding, Hot in the City as well. It's just so many really good, to me, classic Idol songs, Love Calling, and the opener. I mean, it's just a lot of good stuff on here. And, he definitely was, if you look at this version of him, he was MTV ready.
Oh,
And
Billy was made for MTV. Yeah. And think about it. He was just new wave enough and out there enough, but yet good looking guy, but yet accessible enough for MTV that it wouldn't jar anybody. He fit that whole alternative. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but
he rocked too.
He rocked.
Yeah. And when I saw that first video for White Wedding, I was, we had MTV when that came out, and that video, man, it just,
they played that.
That's what got my attention. And I think from that point on, I think I probably ran out, got this, and that was it. That's where it started for me.
They played that on high rotation back in the day. I remember you couldn't escape it. It still stands up. It's a great track. If FM rock radio, they play White Wedding all the time. Now, Dancing with Myself, I don't hear as much, at least in Central Ohio area, but White Wedding, a constant, still to this day. And they play a lot of Billy Idol still to this day. So
yeah, my daughter, she's 16 now, but she loves Billy Idol, and she'll love him, but
right.
When I put him on, she's fine. She's like, "Oh, Billy, I like this."
Oh, good. You can keep it on. It's not like, gee, I'm going to go up in the corner of my room and throw up.
Yeah, no, she likes the White Wedding, and she likes his voice, that roughness of his voice and stuff. So
it's a good way to start out. 1983, though, Rebel Yell came out and was probably, I would say, even a bigger success than that was a much bigger success than the first record. You've got Rebel Yell, Eyes Without a Face, which was a big hit, Flush for Fantasy,
which is one of my favorite Idol songs.
It reached Billboard Hot 100, peak number 4 in the States.
Yeah,
but it's at MTV. They played the heck out of this too, John.
They did.
It's MTV had a lot to do with his career. But he also hit that sweet spot. Yeah,
he did. And I mean, timing was everything for him on that one, because Generation X never really did much of anything. It was 4 good looking guys. They didn't do a whole lot because there was no MTV. And then,
but those records came out domestically here in the States and nothing.
Oh, no. Yeah, I went back to
happened.
much, much later.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, this Rebel Yell classic. How do you like this compared to the first record? Stronger, the same, more the same?
Stronger, I think. The writing to me is better. Steven's a little more in the front now. He's even got a picture on the back, and I think he's on one of the labels on the vinyl. So he had a bigger input. He only did a couple songs on the other one. He had more of the songs
I think that made a difference.
It did. And I think all the songs were written and arranged by Idol and Stevens except for Catch My Fall. That's the only one that wasn't. So to me, this is when they became the perfect team, I guess.
Yeah.
But
all right, so that was in '83. Billy took a bit of a break, and we could touch on that a bit. But Whiplash Smile came out in 1986. It also sold well. And you know what I find odd? Well, think about it in the '80s. To really stay on top, you had to put records out, one after another. A 3-year span with no record is quite a bit in the '80s.
Yeah, and in the
Billy
US,
did it and came out, and it sold well too.
Yeah, in the UK, he did release something. He released Vital Idol in 1985, but we didn't get it, and we'll get to that after Whiplash Smile. But we got it later, but this came out prior to Whiplash Smile.
So that kind of filled in the gap in the UK, but here we're like, there's no product, there's no nothing.
I mean, granted, the album did well, so you got at least a year and a half of playing that album, maybe. But then it's still for back then, that was a big gap.
That was a big gap. This included To Be a Lover, Don't Need a Gun, and Sweet 16. I will say that you hold that album up and it takes me right back.
Yeah.
It was everywhere too. But I will say this, John, those tracks that I mentioned, they don't play those anymore on the radio. Maybe they do, but I never hear them here in Ohio at all.
Yeah. No, I don't ever hear them, but luckily he still plays them live.
Yeah.
And this, I'll admit, this one's a weaker album, in my opinion, than Rebel Yell and the debut. But I think it's like a very strong first half, and then the back half after Don't Need a Gun, it kind of gets a little softer for me.
Right.
But yeah, it's still a good album, and I like that he continues his numbering. First album on side 1 and 2, then 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 on this album. So
I love it. I love the artwork. I love the back cover.
Yeah, this was
out of the park.
Good cover.
Yeah. It's too bad it didn't sell quite as well. The hits weren't quite as high, but hey, we had a 3-year span.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's all. All right.
Well, so what year was this now?
88. That's 86.
I mean, Def Leppard's Power Mania already changed the scene. I mean, the scene was changing.
Things was changing. Def Leppard was pretty big at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could be that. Could be a lot of things, but it still sold well. We'll leave it at that.
Oh yeah.
So they put out a remix album in '87 called Vital Idol. Yeah. This is where it has, and everybody knows this because they do still play this. And if they do play Billy's version of Moni Moni, it's always that damn live version. And the live version comes off of this.
Actually, it doesn't. My copy does not have the live.
Oh, it doesn't?
No. And I have not found one yet that has the live. But you're right. They play the live and they say it's from this version.
Yeah.
But this version is not the live version. I have the downtown mix is what I have. So it's crazy. But you're right. Everywhere I read, it says Moni Moni live. And I'm like, no, this does not say that. But
when this came out, that's when they started playing that.
That is. Yeah.
So maybe they...
It's on the... Wait a second. It's on... Yeah. It's on the single. For Moni Moni, they did a live single to talk about this, but the live single is not on the actual album. This has the single edit, this has the Steel Toe Cat dub, and this has the Hung Like a Pony remix.
Hung Like a Pony remix.
I always thought you wanted to be hung like a horse, but that's okay.
If you're, that's funny. Yeah. All right, so maybe I don't know, someone in the comments. What's the deal with that remix album? I thought that I was under the impression that, I don't know, maybe there are different pressings out there. Yeah. God only knows.
But I do love this. There's some good, the Flesh for Fantasy remix.
You think the remix is better than the original?
For that one, it's close. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, not all these remixes are.
Right.
And then on this, you do get White Wedding Part 1 and Part 2, where on the debut album, you just had Part 1. Okay. So you get Part 2 on this, which is mostly instrumental remix stuff. So, but yeah, it's not a bad. This is a good album if you want like a different greatest hits kind of thing. So,
okay, cool. So anyway, that was Vital Idol '87. Now we have another break in between. John,
he did bring this out in '88.
And what was that? What's an import?
11. This is Idol. What is it called? Billy Idol songs, 11 for the best of the best. This is the UK version, and it comes with a 12-inch single that has 4 additional songs on it.
I've never seen that.
Well, we were going to talk about this one time, and I didn't have it, and I told you the next time we chatted, I'd have it, and I did.
Man, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize I didn't have that. Never seen it.
Yeah. But I had to, and I looked, and I said, all right, which the best version to have? And I found the UK one was, because it had that additional single with 4 tracks that one of those tracks I don't have anywhere else in my collection.
Cool.
So, but that's cool. But you're right. We jumped
to 1990.
Yeah. He takes another break.
Kind of busy though, because Oliver Stone chose him to be Jim Morrison in that Jim Morrison, The Doors film in '81, which is a phenomenal film.
But he wasn't in it.
He wasn't in it. And I think they probably, I didn't like I'm going to go on a tangent. Can I go on a tangent for a second? That Doors film, I think, was absolutely beautifully shot.
Yeah.
When I looked at it and saw it in the theater, to watch it up on the screen, it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
There were things in the movie that I disagreed with, revisionist history and all that.
Yeah.
But I think if Billy would have played him, I think he could have pulled it off. But I think they probably chose the right guy.
They probably did. And it works out. But yeah, because he had gotten in a motorcycle accident right before the album came out, but after he recorded the next album. and messed up his leg, something fierce. And so it was really, that's why he couldn't do the movie.
Right. He would have been great though, but I still like it. One of these days, John, I'm going to revisit it and watch it again. I haven't seen it in years, but I thought it was well done. And there you go.
Yeah. Charm Life.
Charm Life, 1990. This had the single Cradle of Love on it, which was a big hit. That was a big hit. This kind of put Billy back on the map.
But then we have to mention, this was without Steve Stevens, because we forgot to mention that there was a disagreement with the two, and I don't think Steve's on this one. I'm going to double check. Maybe that's the next album.
No, I thought it was this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can check. We can check.
I'm checking just to make sure. Yeah, Steve's not on this one.
Yeah, Keith Forsley produced it.
Yeah.
Cradle of Love, L.A. Woman,
Pumping on
Prodigal
Steel is one of my
Blues
favorites.
were the singles on here. But, John, the reviews for this were very good. It's like,
Critically,
even though
it's great.
Stevie's not on it, All Music gave it 4. Rolling Stone gave it 4. Record Mirror gave it 4. Everybody's given this a 4-star review. So whatever Billy's doing, the reviewers, the critics really enjoyed this record.
Yeah, there was a maturity to it. We're 7 years past his debut. He's a little bit older. Had the axe. I mean, I think it's a more mature album. Great cover of L.A. Woman. And that wasn't for the Doors. That was for a different movie that he covered that for.
Mm-hmm.
And just some really good songs. Endless Sleep. Trouble with the Sweet Stuff. The Loveless. Pumping on Steel. Prodigal Blues. I mean, there's a lot of good songs on this one. I probably gave it a 4 when I reviewed it.
What would you say this is better than Whiplash Smile in your opinion?
Yeah. Whiplash Smile for me is lower on the list than, like, out of these first 4, that would be my least favorite. And then I would probably, but least favorite. So it's still a good one. It's just,
well, there's no bad Billy. Let's just say that.
I have one. I'll show you later.
For the most part, there's no bad Billy.
Studio albums, there are no bad Billies.
Okay.
Yes. None
There
at
is
all.
probably one later that I think I know what you're going to talk about that could be considered bad.
Yeah.
Or I'm not really sure yet, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
I think this is a good record, more true to form. And like I said, Cradle of Love, big single.
And that was big on MTV too.
Big on TV still. So
he wasn't in it much, but
yeah, but he had quite a run.
He did
on MTV.
MTV
probably more
loved
than
him.
Some other artists.
Yeah, they did love him.
They loved him.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a good record. 1993. So we're going from 90. See, he's put out records every 3 years now. We've got Cyberpunk.
Yes, this one.
Now that record back in the day, you hardly ever saw it.
You never did, but it is way ahead of its time in that it was the very first album to be released that had an email address on it. And if you went to that email address, there was like a bio and some pictures. So it was one of the very first EPKs, electronic press kits. So he was cutting edge with a lot of the stuff he was doing for this.
But this record was recorded on a Macintosh computer.
Yeah.
And he used, I don't know what Studio Vision is, but he also used Pro Tools. So this had to be in 93, John.
This had to be one of the first.
This had to be one of the first records to ever use that.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Yeah.
But it took him a long time to record it, like 10 months.
Yeah.
Lead single, Shock to the System.
Good song.
Didn't chart.
Didn't. Good song, though. Out of this album, that's one of the good ones. So.
I don't know. What's your thoughts on this whole record? Yeah, I appreciate it that, Billy's trying something new, going outside the box, trying something experimental. I get it. I mean, he's an artist, okay?
He is.
How did you think that this fared? I mean, looking back on it now, how do you look at this record now? Obviously, we know it didn't sell anything.
Yeah, it didn't do anything.
What's your thoughts on it? Actually,
now I think I appreciate it a lot more for what it is. For back then, it was like, what is this? But now I get it. I understand what he was trying to do. There are some good songs on here, and then there's some different songs. He's very experimental in his styles. He changes it up. There's a lot of electronica in here. It's very industrial sounding at times.
So 93, let's say, like, would you consider, could you hear maybe Nine Inch Nails is like 88, 89? Could you hear any kind of influence like that?
Yes.
On here?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely that harder metallic kind of sound.
Ministry, maybe things in that genre.
Yeah. It was definitely different. Is
Stevie on this record?
No, Stevie's still not. Stevie doesn't come back for a while. So when Steven left after Whiplash Smile from their feud, he didn't come back until 2000 something, early 2000. Wow. Yeah.
Quite a break.
So there were 10 years, at least 10 plus years they were apart. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but again, it's worth a listen. I just don't know if it's not going to be for everybody.
Right.
But I actually pull it out every now and again and I'll play it.
Well, so I'll tell you, if I ever see it in the used bins, I'll get it.
You should.
But the thing is, I think we've talked about this before. Whenever I go through the bins, I usually see like Vital Idol or I see a best of comp. I never see Billy's individual CDs out very much anymore. You used to see them years ago, but now it's usually just best ofs. It's weird.
Yeah, and I've got because I do the vinyl for him, but I was like, all right, I've got all the vinyl, so I start grabbing the CDs as I see them, and out of the pack, they're mostly, like you said, it's mostly greatest hits. I did find Charm Life the other day, and I grabbed it.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. But like Cyberpunk and Devil's Playground, I had to actually order online and get it. But,
because Cyberpunk, that came out on Chrysalis, correct?
That was the last
Chrysalis? Okay.
Yeah. That was the last one.
Because I have never heard it, but
Oh, you've never heard it?
No. Okay. That's one I haven't heard. Like I said, I never saw it back in the day.
Yeah.
And by reading the description, it just makes me really intrigued because I would like to hear Billy be more experimental.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. I'm just going to order the damn thing.
Just, it's different. I mean, it's not Billy Idol, as you know, Billy Idol. That's for sure.
I might like it, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I said there is a part of me that's why I pull it out at least once a year and I play it because I kind of like it, but it's still my least. It's my worst. It's the worst album out of all of them.
So do you think, maybe you know this, because the next record, Devil's Playground, came out in 2005. It was the first studio album that Billy put out in 12 years. Do you think that Billy probably expected more from Cyberpunk and was really totally...
Yeah.
He disappear for 12
He disappeared.
years.
He was very, I think, disillusioned with everything.
Okay.
He tried and he thought, I think he really put his hopes in that people would like Cyberpunk and you know the 90s were not good for people from the 80s. It was a tough time, and I think he just said, all right, I'm kind of done for a while, and so that's why we had such a long break.
Well, it's kind of like those acts from the 70s. A lot of those bands in the 70s had a hard time making that move into the 80s. A lot of people don't talk about the bands and artists that came out in the 80s having a tough time in the 90s so much.
Right.
But this is a good example, you know?
Yeah.
Artists thought that this would probably be the record for its time. And you know what? It was probably too far ahead of its time is what I'm thinking.
I think so too, because I didn't like it back then. But now I kind of...
You can kind of look at it and I get it.
I can get it. So but he didn't go completely... Before Devil's Playground, they did release something. Him and Steve Stevens did get back and do something together. And it was the VH1 Storytellers. Yeah.
So
Stevens came back.
2001?
Yeah, I think that was 2002.
Okay.
2002. So they came back and did the show, and I think that was the start of them back together. And by the way, this is excellent. I think it's fantastic. They do 8 songs that are acoustic, and I think 6 songs that are electric, and there's some just fantastic. Steve Stevens he kills it.
He always brings it.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of those guitar players, kind of underrated. I think guitarists know who he is.
Yeah.
but general public, not really on the radar. He's very underrated as a player. He's a fascinating guy. There's interviews on YouTube. Check out Steve Stevens. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're back in action. Devil's Playground. They're reunited. Came out 2005, and like I said, first studio album in like 12 years.
And they had a demand that it needed to sound 80s, like classic Billy. And it does for the most part, because otherwise this is the heaviest album he's ever done. It's one of my favorite albums he's ever done. So
it's a welcome return to form.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's some just hard hitting songs on here. So you can still hear the Billy, little of the new wave Billy, but they take it up a notch with this one. And
let me ask you this real quick. Yeah. You think highly of this record. Let's say we took this album, let's say it was released in like 1986. You think it would have taken off? It would be right up with those other records?
I think so. There's a few songs on here that would be massive hits, I think.
But yeah, look, we're in a different time period.
Yeah.
His time is, it's just like every artist. That's a long time between stretches of albums.
Yeah.
People are glad he's back, though. But, this record really didn't do very much.
It didn't, which is a shame. Because, songs like Super Overdrive, Scream, Rat Race, and then my favorite one is Body Snatcher. Man, that's almost a metal song. This came out in March, and for some reason, in the middle of the album, there's a Christmas song on
it. Well,
and it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's about his drunk dad during Christmas. It's hilarious. It's a wonderful rocking song.
So is it just kind of tongue in cheek? Is he making fun of his old man, or
I don't know if it's really his old man, but yeah, it just talks about dad being drunk and mama messing around with Santa Claus and dad sitting there yelling at the Christmas tree. So, yeah, but it's a fun song. But that just goes to show. I think they didn't care. They went out and did everything they could on this one, and I think they nailed it. There's not a bad song on this album, and I like a lot of his stuff, and this is one of the best.
Excellent. So after that,
yeah,
what came out after that?
The Christmas album.
Okay.
Now this is the 2021 remix version of it. It is still sealed. I will not open this.
Okay.
Because I've heard it. But in
this album came out next
October 2006.
Okay.
The original did. And there's 2 original songs on here, and Yelling at the Christmas Tree is not one of them. And all I can say is I'll just listen to Mariah Carey and her song and be happy with.
This must be the record you're not very happy.
I hate that record. Yeah.
Oh, hates it. Okay, that's strong.
Yeah, that's why the vinyl's still sealed, because I just can't listen to it.
What was the story behind that? Was he what label is that on, for one? Was he approached by the label to make a record, or did Billy just feel the power of
he might have just had the holiday spirit. There is no story that I can find on it, which is strange. It's just out of the blue. The cover on the original is different than that one, because, like I said, that's the 2022 release or reissue.
Is Stevie on that?
I had that as a note to mention. How bad is this album? Steve is not involved at all on this album. That sums it up right there.
That sums it up.
Yeah.
Probably would have helped if he'd been involved, but
I think so.
Maybe it was just they approach. Well, what label is it on? Do you have that in front of you?
I have to look the original, because this is a reissue. No, it's called Bodog Music. So don't know that label. Bodog Music, but he does some Christmas songs in rockabilly style and Elvis style, and he kind of sticks to the songs, and there's some traditional Christmas songs, and there were 2 originals he wrote that they're nothing as good as Yelling at the Christmas Tree. So,
oh well.
Yeah. If it was a rocking Christmas album, I would have probably liked it, but it's not a Billy Idol rock album of any kind.
Understood. Oh well. All right. So we did that, and obviously that didn't do anything.
That didn't. So he released a greatest hits album, and I only point this
Again,
one.
another greatest hits.
But this is the best one to get. This has all the hits you can get up through Devil's Playground, but it also has 2 brand new songs that are on this physical version. John Wayne, which he plays live, and then New Future Weapon. And what is really extra cool about those 2 tracks is my brother-in-law was the engineer on those 2 tracks.
No, really?
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I wanted to promote this one, because get this one. I don't know if he gets money still on this one, but
Get that.
my brother-in-law did the 2 new tracks.
So is that now those tracks that are on there aren't recordings, are they?
No, it's all.
Is that on Chrysalis? What did that come out on?
This is Capitol.
Okay, which is Absorb Chrysalis or whatever.
They did, yeah.
Okay.
So no, it's all actual songs. It also has the song Speed from the movie Speed. So instead of having to buy the soundtrack, you can get that on here. And if you have the digital version, there's an extra track on the digital version that's not on this one. So
cool.
But if you want a greatest hits album, I would recommend this one. It's
Excellent.
called The Very Best of Billy Idol. Simple enough. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So after that
we're
was
another.
We in 2014 now? Oh, okay.
Icon. Don't waste your money. Get this one. Don't get this one.
Yeah, that's one of those ones. That's one of those greatest hits for the cheapy bins.
That is exactly what it is. And I found it in a used shop not too long ago for like $1 or $2, and I was like, well, it'll complete the collection, so I bought it. Yeah,
that's fine. I get it. I've never seen that Icon version. I've never seen the other greatest hits either.
Yeah, the other greatest hits is, like I said, with 2 new songs plus you can get Speed. It's worth it, and because the 2 new songs are fantastic. Yeah. So, all right.
So now we're in 2014.
2014. Kings and Queens of the Underground.
And I was going to say, John, that looks like the same album cover as the previous one. It's very similar. Don't you think? It is kind of similar.
Except he's not showing the I'm not shooting your bird, but he's not showing the abs on this one though. Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's
it is very similar.
It is very similar.
Very dark. This is the vinyl, obviously. Good luck in finding one of these cheap. There's nothing under 100, 150 bucks. So I got lucky on this one and got it when it came out.
But this record, he's working with Trevor Horn.
Trevor Horn, I know. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, got the Buggles guy. Yeah,
well,
really awesome.
Great pop producer.
He's got Steve Stevens is on this one. Billy Morrison is also on this one. It's another. I'll just use every time I say fantastic. Take a drink. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
It is fantastic. I hate, Devil's Playground was great. Might like this one a little equal or a little more. It's kind of a little retrospective. He's kind of looking back at his life a little bit. And his career, and he's like soul searching is what it feels like. Man, I mean, some of the songs, Bitter Pill, Can't Break Me Down, Save Me Now might be my new favorite Billy Idol song.
Wow.
And One Breath Away. I mean, there's the first half of this record is better than most anything he's ever put out. I can't say enough good things about this one. It's just incredible. And it ends with one of the killer songs, Whiskey and Pills, which is a rockin', a good Steve Stevens song. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Have you heard this one?
No.
Okay.
I'd never seen it. Those records, those later records, just you'd be hard pressed to find one.
Oh, you'll never. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this out. And I ordered it from his website when it came out because apparently I've been a fan for a while.
Evidently.
Yeah.
They probably said, "Oh yeah, John, the new record will be out. Did you want one?"
Yeah, I was the only one on the email list.
You were on the email list.
So that was that one. And I can pull it out, but the album is 3 sides, and on the fourth side is an etching, but
Oh,
I
like
don't
the
have it.
6 Paradise Theater and like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got I mean, I can pull it out, but that would be hard to see on the thing.
I trust you.
Yeah. And then so but that's pretty cool. And so then that's the very last studio full length album, but he's still got a bunch of stuff that he's put out since then.
Still 2014. That's quite a gap.
Yeah. Well, 2014 between 2000, what was it? 5?
Mhm.
He went 9 years between Devil's Playground.
Yeah.
And so, but then after that, it starts picking up a little bit. 2 years later, in 2016, on Record Store Day, for November 25th, 2016, was this. So this is the only way you can get a physical copy of this album. It was a Record Store Day exclusive, and it actually lived up to that.
Really?
You can get it digitally, but you can't. This is the only physical copy. There were only 2,000 made. Mine's number 1148. And they go for about $150 on up if you can find one.
You can find one.
Which they're on eBay and stuff, but you're gonna pay.
You're gonna pay that way.
You're gonna pay.
What year did that come out?
2016. It was taken from the tour for King and Queens.
Mhm.
Now, I'll say this: I don't like live albums that take songs from various cities, but he did this in a way that it sounds like one concert, because he blends the crowd noise in so it doesn't feel like you're fading out or fading in. There's no like skipping. It sounds like one complete live show, the way they put it together. So for that, it's fantastic.
Right.
So I really like that. And then what's really cool is his Steve solo song is called Dementia, which is off his Flamenco A Go-Go album. So he gets to have one of his songs, but the live version of Flesh for Fantasy, oh man, Steven he kills it. Absolutely kills it.
Sweet.
There's some really good live songs on here. And Billy seems to be having a good time when there's talking with the crowds and stuff. Someone screams out, "I love you, Billy," and he goes, "I love me too." So, he's having a good time.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So that was 2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we skip 2 more years and we'll go to 2018 with Revitalized. So another Vital Idol kind of concept. This one's a little different in the fact that he's got different people remixing it. So Moby remixes one, Paul Oakenfeld remixes one, Crystal Method remixes one, even his son remixes one of these.
So it's just a remix record.
It's just a remix record. Two vinyl, 2 LP. There's some good ones on here, but it's not as good, in my opinion, as Vital Idol. So,
but it's along the lines of that, right?
It's definitely along the lines of that.
If you listen to Vital, what'd you call it? Vital
Idol.
Vital Idol. God, brain problem. If you listen to Vital Idol and you listen to this, it's like part 1, part 2, or is the one you can listen to and go, oh, well, that's, definitely.
I can listen to Vital Idol and over again. This one, it's just too modern. The mixes are too, some of them are just too out there for me. And they change the song enough that to me, it loses the heart of the song. So I'm not a big fan of this one. So there are a couple good ones on here, but
I've never seen that in the wild. I've never seen one.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have either. I would have to order his online because I'm not going to see them anywhere.
You're not going to see it anywhere. All right.
Yeah. So I get them when they come out.
So what year are we in now?
Now we're going to jump up a couple of years because of COVID. We're going to jump to September 17th, 2021, and he releases an EP. I love the cover.
I love the cover.
I got it autographed by Billy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's a 4-song EP. Rita Hayworth, Bitter Taste, You Don't Have to Kiss Me Like That, and Baby Put Your Clothes Back On. Bitter Taste was the single off this one. Again, another introspective, looking back song. I know, I think he's really taken stock in his life now and and appreciating everything that he made it through that time with the drugs and everything, and that he's come out on the other side. You know, he's a granddad now, and I think he's really enjoying his life, but he's looking back at that stuff. And so for that, I think it's really a cool little record.
Love it.
Yeah. But
that was just an EP.
We did that, and then a year later, almost to the week, he did another EP called The Cage. And this has Cage, Rebel Like You, and Miss Nobody, which that one was produced by Butch Walker. But it's got the song Running from the Ghost, which might, again, be one of the best songs he's ever written and sang. So that's what I'm saying. I think these last four, the two studios and these two EPs, are some of the best work he's ever done. Might not be the most radio friendly all the time stuff, but there's some depth to some of these songs that you wouldn't expect from Billy. But they sound like Billy.
Right. There's definitely his stamps on it.
Lyrically, it's telling something. He's got something to say. And Running from the Ghost is that song on here.
Steve Stevens on there too?
Oh yeah. Him and Steve they're tight niche now. So that's the last album he's put out. I have other stuff, but I have a couple bootlegs from 1980s.
Yeah.
Well,
from what we've discussed and what you brought up and these records and the way you've not ranked them, but your thoughts. Billy, I was on Sea of Tranquility with Pete Pardo, and we did the catalog of Night Ranger. And I think there's a lot of parallels between Billy Idol and Night Ranger, for God's sake. Some of that Night Ranger stuff that's on Frontiers.
Somewhere in California, High Road, they're all great.
Some people would say, oh, those aren't as good as the MCA stuff. But I swear to God, I'll put that stuff up against any of that MCA stuff. Is it as good as Dawn Patrol? No. Or Midnight Madness? Maybe not, but it's
up there.
Right after it, as far as I'm concerned. Billy's kind of like that. He's an inverted.
For me, he is that. He's definitely that way.
But his stuff never, I don't think, for me, I think Night Ranger really went commercial and went to a different low than Billy. Billy was pretty, what do I want to say? He really didn't stir the pot so much. When you heard, cyberpunk. But, you can look at that. I don't know.
I think you can look at Night Ranger never had an artistic album. That was his
they just did meat and potatoes. They knew what they could do. They didn't stretch their legs and try to make a statement.
Right.
Billy, you have to hand it to him for cyberpunk, for God's sakes.
I agree with that. Sure. But,
might not be your favorite, but he's taking chances. He's an artist. He's trying to produce something. So, but still, I guess you could put it in that inverted, and then he comes right back out of it and just kills.
I just think he's been on fire the last 20 years.
Yeah. And you could say that for Night Ranger. I think they've been on, come on, man. Wow.
Yeah. And there's stuff
no one knows,
too.
John, no one knows those records.
That's
no one knows
too.
These records either. But here on Grant's Rock Warehouse, we are trying to turn people on to these records.
Look past the stuff that was their most famous and try the newer stuff. I mean, you won't be disappointed, I don't think.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So, gosh, I don't know if we do you have anything else you want to any other things you can show us?
I mean, I have, like I said, the bootlegs are fantastic. I've got one from 1982, which is sound quality is okay, but the Rebel Waltz, this one, 1984, is phenomenal. Soundboard recording. This would be like a 5 out of 5.
Okay.
Just for the sound and the songs. And it says it's from New York. It's from Houston. So don't, that's what I love about bootlegs.
These bootlegs, you can't say they were accurate. So
no, look at this. This one they called With Wedding, not White, but With Wedding. It has, I don't know, Woo Woo Woo, which that's not a song. but there's just so many errors on the labels and the stuff. And sometimes it's not even that song. It's a different song. That's what I love about the bootlegs. The people who made them did not care.
No.
They just found something and
put it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have singles. I mean, I have a lot of singles. Cradle of Love, Hot in the City. I have all that. Sweet 16, Rebel Yell, Eyes Without a Face. So as I see these out in the wild, I grab them.
Right.
So these are all wild grabs.
And they're nice. They're all picture sleeves too. So
I kind of this little box over here is all my picture sleeve singles. It's probably got 70 or 80 of them in.
Yeah, when I go out to the store, I always go through them. Yeah,
if I can find a good 80s rock with a good picture sleeve, I've got a ton of Bon Jovi and Def Leppard and, I got a couple of Night Ranger and Aldo Nova. So anything I can find, I grab. Right. If it's in decent shape.
Yeah, it all depends.
Yeah.
But the pictures, some of those picture sleeves are, some of the ones I've got, just because they were rare, they weren't maybe the best condition, but they were still rare.
Yeah, you might be a little.
I might just go ahead and get it because it
might be a little rough around the top here and stuff. And I got a couple that are from France for Cinderella. When I saw those, it was like, I'm never going to see a French press of those, so I grabbed them.
Billy, I don't think that they're really, other than the Christmas album, there's probably really not a bad record in the catalog.
Yeah, even Cyberpunk's, to me,
even Cyberpunk has redeeming qualities if you want something that's more experimental. Now I'm so intrigued about hearing Cyberpunk. I'm going to see if I can order it. If it's around, I don't know, probably Discogs be the best bet.
Yeah.
But anyway, Billy Idol catalog. We went through the whole damn catalog in an hour. We're like a machine here at Rock Warehouse. But John, is there anything you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, just if you get a chance, listen to Billy whenever you can. Support him. He just did a movie live at the Hoover Dam. I went to the movie theater. They had one night only, so I went and watched that. So I'm sure that's going to be coming out on a CD and a DVD or something later. So be on the lookout for that. That was really a great show. Just get out there and support. Buy some physical product.
Yeah, help Billy out. I'm not sure what's in print and what's not, but that's what makes it fun about searching for this stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, check out Billy Idol's catalog. So much to offer, Let's just do it. Anyway, John, anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up? Or, you've got a website.
Yeah, go to tooloudtooldmusic.com and you can see what I said about the Final Kiss show. I was there. Yeah, that was fun. I talked about that. I'm doing Bon Jovi series and a Def Leppard series. So if you like that type of stuff, go check us out.
Cool. Excellent. I'll put his link down below, so check him out. Give John some love, everybody. And we do want to hear from you about Billy Idol.
Yes.
Let us know what albums you like, what albums you don't like, singles, whatever. Let's just keep the conversation going. All right, John, thanks for coming on. This was a great discussion. God, I love it. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We'll have John back. I'm not sure. We'll concoct something. I don't know, but we'll have John back. It's always fun to have John here and talking music. All right, everybody. John, thanks for coming on. Like I said, leave a comment, subscribe. You know the whole routine. I just want to say every Wednesday on the Contrarians, well, not this Wednesday or yesterday, we do a live chat. So Martin's usually there, and we keep it open. We have the panel open. You can talk to everybody. The chat room's open. We want to hear from you. So tune in 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Contrarians for the live chat. Other than that, just stay tuned to my channel. There's always something coming on. All right, everybody, we'll see you, and thanks a lot, and have a good one.